Welcome back to Heavy Duty, where we explore the machines that shaped the world of transportation. Today, we're taking a ride back to where it all began for one of the most recognizable automotive brands on the planet. This is the story of the 1910 Audi Type A, a car that wasn't just the beginning of a model lineup, but the very foundation of the Audi name itself. In the early 1900s, a man named August Horch, already known in the German car scene, left the company he had started due to disagreements with his board. Legally blocked from using the Horch name again, he took inspiration from Latin. Horch, meaning listen in German, became Audi, Latin for to listen. And in 1910, the first car to wear that name rolled out of the factory, the Audi Type A. When you first lay eyes on the Type A, it's clear this car wasn't about extravagance, it was about precision and engineering. It looks like a horse-drawn carriage at first glance, but when you look closer, you see the craftsmanship that went into every detail. From the high-riding wooden spoked wheels to the long, narrow hood and exposed engine components, it's a machine that demands respect. The body is tall and narrow, with minimalistic panels and a steel chassis that was remarkably advanced for the time. This was the era of coach-built cars, meaning the body styles could vary slightly depending on the buyer's request, but most Type A models featured a two-seat touring configuration with an open cabin, wide fenders, and brass accents that gave it a regal yet utilitarian appearance. The long, flat hood was not just for aesthetics, it housed the car's beating heart, an inline-four engine that was far ahead of its time. Inside, the cabin was about as stripped down as you'd expect for the early 20th century. There was no dashboard in the modern sense, just a wooden panel with a few basic gauges. The steering wheel was enormous, almost ship-like, and mounted upright. Levers controlled ignition timing and throttle manually. The seating was simple leather-upholstered bench-style seating, with little in the way of cushioning or adjustability. You didn't drive the Type A for comfort, you drove it for control, presence, and mechanical purity. There were no doors on most models, and getting in required a bit of effort. But once you were seated behind the massive steering wheel, you had a commanding view of the road, or rather, the dirt path in front of you. The floor was wooden, and the pedals were a different layout than what we know today, something drivers had to learn carefully. Everything about the Type A was mechanical and raw, yet it came together to offer a driving experience that was considered smooth and sophisticated for its time. Now let's talk about the power plant. The 1910 Audi Type A was equipped with a 2.6-liter inline-four engine that produced about 22 horsepower. That doesn't sound like much now, but in 1910, that kind of output was more than respectable. Paired with a 4-speed manual transmission, the Type A could reach a top speed of around 75 km per hour, or about 47 miles per hour. That was serious speed at a time when most roads weren't paved, and many vehicles were still transitioning away from horse-drawn carriages. The car featured rear-wheel drive and leaf spring suspension, which helped soak up the ruts and rocks of early roads. Braking was mechanical and done on the rear wheels, only a far cry from the four-wheel hydraulic systems we take for granted now. Despite these limitations, the Audi Type A was praised for its handling and reliability, quickly earning a reputation among early motoring enthusiasts. As for price, this was not an affordable car by any means. In 1910, the Type A would have cost the equivalent of several years' wages for the average worker. It was a car aimed at professionals, landowners, and the upper middle class of Germany. Today, an original Audi Type A is an ultra-rare collector's item. Only a handful remain in museums and private collections, and their value is essentially priceless, not just because of rarity, but because of what they represent, the beginning of a legacy. The legacy of performance, engineering, and forward-thinking design that would go on to define Audi for over a century started with this car. The Type A laid the groundwork for everything that came after, from Le Mans race winners to luxury sedans packed with the latest technology. In the Type A, you can already see the seeds of that DNA, precision craftsmanship, attention to detail, and a focus on driver engagement. For us here at Heavy Duty, the 1910 Audi Type A is more than just a car. It's a symbol of how one man's vision and a clever use of Latin could create a brand that would change the automotive world forever. It's a reminder that every revolution starts somewhere, and sometimes, it starts with a hand-cranked engine, wooden wheels, and a whole lot of grit. Thanks for riding through history with us. If you enjoyed this trip back to the roots of one of Germany's finest automotive brands, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. What other vintage machines should we dig up next? This is heavy duty, where past meets power.